Finally, we want to start with this already transformed function, and we want to do three things to it. The first thing is a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3. That will be number 1. Number 2 is a translation 8 units down. And then finally, number 3 is a reflection in the y-axis. Let's remind ourselves of what these will do. A horizontal shrink is an x only. Remember, horizontal things only affect x. We plug in for x with whatever that's going to do. And remember that since this is horizontal, we're going to be thinking reciprocal here. We'll take a look at that in a second. A translation 8 units down, that is vertical. Up and down is vertical. So this is a whole function. And then finally, a reflection in the y-axis is another x only, because reflecting in the y-axis, across the y-axis, is going to cause positive x values to become negative and vice versa. I want to take a peek at our chart here and make sure that we understand what all we're doing. We're doing a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3. So a horizontal stretch or shrink, if we have a shrink, then that's a fraction, but when we write it, it's the reciprocal, so it's going to become a whole number. A translation 8 units down, that's going to be something in this form where we have a negative, and in our case it will be a -8. And then finally, a reflection in the y-axis replaces x with -x everywhere that we see it in order to reflect over the y-axis. Let's go do those things. Okay, transformation number 1, and we will call this h of x, and it is a horizontal shrink by a factor of 1/3. So that means that we want to replace everywhere that we see x with a 3x. Remember that it's the reciprocal. So I'm going to say 2 times 3x cubed plus 3x minus 12. Let's simplify this. 3 cubed is 27, and x cubed is x cubed. But I'm going to need to take that 27 and multiply by 2 to get 54, because of this 2 right here. And so 54x to the 3rd plus 3x minus 12. That is my h of x, my first step. Now I want to translate 8 units down. So j of x is going to start with h of x, but then I need to move down 8. So minus 8, 54x to the 3rd plus 3x minus 12, my entire h of x function, and then subtract 8. We can combine like terms here to get 54x to the 3rd plus 3x minus 20, and this is j of x. That's step 2. Our final step is a reflection in the y-axis. Since this is final, I'll call it g of x. And I want to do j of negative x. Remember that it only affects the x and it is inside parentheses. So I'm going to say 54 times negative x to the 3rd plus 3 times negative x minus 20. And now I just need to simplify to get my final g of x is equal to, we've already talked about this, a negative x raised to the 3rd power. Since that's odd, it's going to be a negative overall. I'll bring the negative to the front with the 54, x to the 3rd minus 3x and minus 20. And this is our final g of x after we've done the 3 transformations.